Good morning. It's Wednesday, and we're reading more of the stories of Jesus appearing after the resurrection. And so today we're looking at John chapter 20, verses 19 through 23. On the evening of that day, the first day of the week, the doors being locked where the disciples were for fear of the Jews, Jesus came and stood among them and said to them, "Peace be with you." When he'd said this, he showed them his hands and his side. Then the disciples were glad when they saw the Lord. And Jesus said to them again, "Peace be with you. As the Father has sent me, so I am sending you." And when he had said this, he breathed on them and said to them, "Receive the Holy Spirit. If you forgive the sins of any, they are forgiven them. If you withhold forgiveness from any, it is withheld." So, first thing to look at here is, John makes the point that the doors are all locked because they're scared that the police, the Romans, or somebody in authority is going to show up and arrest them for being friends of Jesus. This is Easter evening. It's just a couple days since he was killed, and they might come after us. Well, they don't, but that's another story. But Jesus comes. Now, he's just made the point that the door's all locked, and yet Jesus is suddenly there. So the thinking is, well, Jesus just appeared in the room or just kind of walked through the door. Not the way that we normally behave. And he says, "Peace be with you," and shows him his hands and his side, these wounds. And they say, "Oh, okay, you're Jesus. Yeah, we know who you are." And then he says, "Peace be with you" again. And then he says, "The Father sent me, so I send you. I apostello you," in Greek. So there you go, a little bad Greek for you. Apostello, or as we use it, apostle. Now, apostello is a verb, but apostle's the noun. And these are the apostles, the ones who Jesus sends. So we can always make a distinction between the apostles and the disciples. There are lots of disciples. There are, at this point, 11 who are sent. Actually, there are 10 who are sent because Thomas isn't there, but that's tomorrow's reading. So he says, "I will send you." I'm sending you out to preach about me. And then he says, "Receive the Spirit," and he breathes on them. The Spirit, in our language, doesn't quite do this, but in Greek, it's the exact same word for wind or air or spirit. So pneuma, like in pneumonia, right? And so he says, "Receive the Spirit," and blows on them. And then it says, "If you forgive the sins of any, they're forgiven, and if you retain anyone's sins, if you withhold forgiveness, then it's withheld." So he gives them a certain authority over other people. So that's, I'm thinking about something that's going to take way too long to talk about. But so Jesus comes and appears to the disciples, even in a locked room, and proves who he is with his wounds, and then breathes on them so that they receive the Spirit and can go out in his name. My friend used to always say, when you think you feel your stomach rumbling, and how do you know if it's the Holy Spirit, and how do you know if it's just gas? And that's the thing, it's kind of a joke on the way the word was used in the ancient world, but how do we know if we have the Spirit? Well, does the Spirit lead us to do things that are in consonance with what Jesus taught? If the Spirit is telling you something that's radically different from what the Bible teaches, maybe you need to stop and think about it. Doesn't always mean that it's not the Spirit, but it often does. And so you need to be a little careful. Well, I hope that you have a great day. I hope that you will read and ponder these stories again later today, and I hope that that you'll follow the Spirit. So have a great day.